Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm joined by my co-host James Elsey. I've got Franklin Boateng, also known by his online moniker King of Trainers. And we're just here to chop it up and do what we said we're going to do, really. We've got Franklin's our first guest, so let's just get into it, really.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
No,
our
thank
first
you
guest.
Thank you for having me. Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You are.
Well, this is episode 2.
Okay.
You're a first guest, so
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in and chatting to us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I said I'm always available when you guys need me.
Yeah, we said just before we start, you're the podcast expert here. You've got considerably more time under your belt than we have.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a conversation and sort of peeling the layers back.
Thank you. Same. Yeah.
For those of you that follow the sneak scene, obviously King of Trainers, but some of us know you as Franklin. Where did it all start?
Yeah, I mean, the King of Trainers thing, and a lot of people. I mean, I've said this on a few maybe podcasts and just to people in general, but you know, when it came into the social media side of things, a lot of people thought it started on social media, but it started from like the early 80s, where my mum, I've said this before, she loved tennis. She loved Boris Becker in particular. And when I was a kid in the 80s, I used to mash my trainers up like any kid does. So she didn't want to keep on buying me trainers because she thought, okay, if I buy him cheap shoes, he's going to mash them up. So she just wanted to buy me quality. And her love of tennis, she would look at what the tennis players were wearing, literally, and try to buy me those. So like in like 85, 86, like Boris Becker won his Wimbledon championship, first Wimbledon championship, and she loved Boris Becker. So I've got a picture of me wearing these Pumas, which she thought were the Boris Becker Pumas.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what she did. I didn't know at that point. I was too young to even know, but she said, "Oh, Boris Becker wears these, so it must be good." Do you get what I mean? That's how, you know, and a lot of people from diaspora, like Africa, West Indies, that's how they think. It's quality, you know, hence why West Indies wear Clarks, etc., etc. So she just thought, I'm buying him quality, not knowing what it can turn into. She didn't care about this, none of that like this. She didn't know what was going on. So when I would go, you know, back then you get one sneaker a year, one shoe a year. Yeah, unless you mash it up, and that's what she didn't want. She didn't want to, you know. So every summer, every shoe I got was like the hottest tennis shoe. Okay. And tennis was the premier sport back then. It was the biggest thing in the world. And she was like, so my friends in school used to say, "Oh, you're the King of Trainers." Because it's like having people take for granted now we have branded stuff, but having branded stuff in the early 80s was serious.
We're a very similar age.
Indeed. So
although I didn't grow up in a city, you know, obviously big city like London, but it was very, very much the same. I think my very first pair of Adidas torsions were literally, I'd seen someone in Wimbledon wearing them, and I was like, "Mum, I want these." Yeah. And then subsequently, I was a big Agassi head through the 90s, and then all the Tech Challenge stuff, you know, all the apparel and all that stuff.
This is it. Yeah.
Tennis was huge.
Tennis was
wasn't
huge.
it? Much more so than basketball.
Much more. I mean, like I was just after the whole Stan Smith era in terms of, but Stan Smith was a bigger superstar than Jordan. People don't even, when I say that, people are like, what? Because of what's happened now. But back then, Stan Smith was a bigger superstar than Jordan.
You'll have to forgive these kids. No. They don't remember a world before the internet. And your world literally existed.
This is it. John McEnroe was
on your doorstep.
Way bigger than Jordan.
Yeah.
Way bigger. You know, so I cannot be serious and all that. That was you know, and that's how it went back in the day. So, yeah. Yeah,
outside of football. Tennis was the big deal.
It was the big deal, and you know,
for sure.
If you look at terrace culture took a lot of their style from. I mean, terrace culture took a lot of stuff from tennis culture. Yeah, you know, in terms of the clothing, the feeler, like what the tennis players were wearing. You look at it's just very, very similar. Yeah, parallel. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely big influences there.
Indeed.
So you're, you know, baby Franklin, playground creek kicks.
Yeah, and that's
history looked like,
and that's what it is. And by me kind of developing that you know, that trainers. It made me kind of love trainers. I mean, back in the day, we didn't know the names. We didn't know. We just knew the colors.
I like that.
Yeah, we didn't know. We didn't know all of that. It was the colors. It was more about the aesthetics of the shoe. When the Air Max 90 that came out, it was like, oh my god, that color. Yeah. And go on.
It's funny you mentioned that. So, what is the first? You know, you hit the high street. You see, you go to Olympus.
Yeah, Olympus. Yeah.
What's the first shoe you remember seeing on the shelves back then that really had an impact on you?
For me, it was more the Reebok. At that time, it wasn't the Reebok workout. There was a similar shape of a Reebok.
The Freestyle?
Exofit?
No, it was a different shape. I have to find the name of it, but there was a Reebok and it had like it looked like a workout, but it had like a little blue, like it was a wicked shoe, and I need to find. I'll get that. And my mum bought that for me, and from Olympus Sports in Wood Green, and that was wow. And Reebok was the biggest thing.
Okay.
Reebok
it's crazy. People don't realize how big Reebok was.
Reebok was the biggest. Like and you know and listening to Reebok's founder story and stuff and how he got into the niche, but Reebok in the UK back then was huge. Because they were alternative brand, and that's what people liked.
I think people resonated with the British flag on the branding.
Indeed,
like everybody held on to that hard, especially here.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So and then I would say through the kind of late 80s, early 90s, I grew up in Tottenham.
Yeah.
And back then it was really Tottenham. It was pretty rough. So what my mum would do is she would send me to, surprisingly, New York or Canada for the summer holidays.
Okay.
And that was my kind of introduction to what people now know as reselling.
I see.
Yeah. So I would go to New York, go to Foot Action. Back then there was country exclusives that people didn't know. So I would go Foot Action or shops out there, and I would buy literally a TN from Foot Action, not knowing. People don't know that Foot Action was Foot Locker, owned by the same company, Woolworth family. And I'll bring it back, and people are, oh my God, I ain't see that TN colour. And literally it'll be $100 out there, but it was £110 out here. And they'll be like, oh, I'll keep the change, not knowing that I've just made $50 or $40.
Yeah.
So literally that's how I kind of started in the 90s.
You're in essence Forex trading through
through
TNs.
Through TNs, through trainers from the States. Yeah. I mean, I brought the Grant Hills. I used to bring bare trainers from my friends back,
In Florida in the 90s, you'd walk into a Foot Locker and you'd be like, oh, have you got any TNs? They'd be like, no, sorry, the last British guy just loaded his suitcase and it has gone.
It's gone, yeah. I know a few of them as well.
Yeah. And similarly back then, if you would buy the latest shoe there, it could be 6 months, a year before you'd see it in the UK.
It may not even come out.
Yeah.
I remember going to a shop called Carrefour in France. I used to go to France a lot to buy trainers, and they used to have Nike exclusives that were incredible. I've got a pair of 90s. I've still got them, and they still it's like vanished from thin air. Like when I brought them out, people are like, oh my God, and it's those back in the day. That's what excited me. My ritual would be every time I go on holiday, I know I'm going to buy a trainer that no one's seen, right?
Okay.
As soon as I get back from either New York or Canada or France, I go into Foot Locker. I start off at Wood Green, my day, so I plan it. The next day I get my outfit ready. I go into Wood Green Foot Locker. The staff, they go crazy. And then I jump on the Victoria line. I go back to Tottenham, jump on the Victoria line, come into the West End. I hit Nighttown. I hit Foot Locker, the big old Foot Locker, the original one, and then I hit the big JD Sports, and that was my ritual back in the day, just to let people know, what was going on back then. So it was just something I do.
I remember getting a pair of Reebok pumps. I think it was like 92, the year they came out, and then coming back to the UK, and it was like the playground wasn't ready.
They weren't.
It was not ready.
No, they weren't.
And then the next year, I think I got it was the Charles Barkley Air Force 180, the original black Eurobuck.
Back then,
and that they didn't hit the UK for a good year.
Yeah, and to have them back then, it was mad. It was like magic.
But that's what fed the pack. This is where I end up here, and
this is it.
Those early days really fueled the passion.
Indeed, and I feel.
Do you prefer, like back then? It was much more of an analog pursuit, wasn't it?
Yeah. Of course, I prefer it back then, 100%, because it was so exciting. I mean, you go into the sports shop, Olympus, First Sport, whatever, Briggs. Briggs
Reece,
Sports. Sorry,
you won't even know
man.
these stores we're talking about, will you?
No, to be fair, you're right. I know there's
Cobra.
I know of stores in London that I don't know if they're still open now, but a few years ago they had like older Forces, older 90s, 95s. I don't know, but I'm not from London, so that's kind of the extent of my like.
It's all good.
So these are all like sports shop franchises from back in the day.
Indeed.
Intersport was the last one that I mean, they're still around.
Yeah.
They have managed to hang on in some capacity. Yeah. But it was Intersport. They were like independents that would sign up to a buying group franchise, and then they'd become an Intersport,
like a mom and pop style store in the US. Okay.
Basically,
and then you had Olympus Sports.
You had Olympus. You had Pro Sport,
Cobra, First Sport,
Briggs Sport. I don't know if you heard of Briggs.
Obviously, there was a lot more down here. The further south you went, the more there was. But I think Cobra was the first place I ever saw an Air Jordan.
Yeah, Cobra was the place that I don't know what type of relationship they had, but Cobra launched the Air Max 95. People don't know that, and back in the day, the Air Max 95 was 99.95. The first drop was the 99.95. You know, and when we have these debates about what the 110 is and stuff, but I remember the first ever Air Max 95 drop was 99.95. Yeah, and then the price went up from there. Okay.
Yeah, the 110 is always the TN for me. It was always the TN for me.
Same.
It was never the 95.
It was never 95s.
Never.
You two are trying to cause trouble with this.
No, we should. The original. That's what I'm saying. That's
one of them. You just didn't go there.
Yeah. Oh no, I used to go there. Yeah. I used to go there a lot. But
110 is not a 95.
Nah. Never.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you're learning today, Reece.
Yeah, but I suppose with sneakers, and I feel there's it's like the idea of like an old story. People hear these stories that weren't around at the time, and they kind of run with them. And then someone who's got like a bit more gravitas within like a scene will say it is gospel, and then it'll pick up even more roots. And
that's the problem. Yeah. And I've always said this, like that's why, you know, when I started my Instagram page, because I was doing it like on you'll see I was on Tumblr, I was on all these platforms before, and then when I went onto Instagram, I had to correct a lot of myths. Like I used to get in trouble. I used to get in so much, you know. Oh no, that didn't happen, and I'll be like, no, well, I was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was there.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes that's just how it has to be, innit? You're gonna cause the you know, because a lot of the younger generation, they will be like, oh, the 110 is, and I was like, nah, that never was the 110. So sometimes
I suppose it's a good opportunity to get onto when you Insta, what's it sitting at, like 120 something thousand followers?
Yeah. So oh god, Instagram, it was crazy because it happened. The reason,
what was the first? Which platform was the first platform that you took the King of Trainers handle?
Okay, so back in the day, and this is what a lot of people don't know, and I don't know if I've said this. So back in the day, I registered thekingoftrainers.com. We're talking in the 90s, right?
Okay, so the URL, the domain.
The URL, Okay. And I tried to do a website in 99, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was very early in the internet generation, but I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh, I'm going to do a trainer blog called The King of Trainers and do this. I don't know what I was doing. So unfortunately, I let the names go, etc. Then I re-registered King of Trainers like early 2000s. But before then, like MySpace, all that, I had a little blog, The King of Trainers. It was always The King of Trainers. Even on Crooked Tongues, it was The King of Trainers. But but during that period in my life, I had an installation company, so I wasn't on the internet heavy So I was always on the road. I was doing my businesses, etc. And then it was around the time where my businesses were kind of failing, and I was just going through some financial difficulty, that I took a hiatus from like all kind of work and things like that. And I set up a social network called Fabs Network. What a lot of people might remember me as Fabs.
Okay.
And in that network, I had the King of Trainers forum. It was just me and my friends talking about trainers. Then I set up the Twitter, you know. Before that, I had other platforms, Tumblr and all these different things, but I set up the Twitter. What happened is JD Sports, they used to use King of Trainers back in the late 80s, early 90s, but that was as a branded thing, and I had already been using it as just a local thing. I never thought nothing would come of it. Like
there'd be any like crossover.
No,
like
I mean, I was too naive. I didn't, and you're not thinking about that. You're just like, I'm the king of trade. I'm just a fan of footwear.
Yeah.
And then my friend said, Nike won't just do it. Adidas on Impossible Nothing. Why doesn't JD Sports speak to the King of Trains and added us in the tweet? That tweet caused a storm with JD, because what JD did is they used to use it, and then around 2003 they stopped using it and went with Best of the Best and changed their whole branding from blue and white to black and yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You remember that. Yeah. So what happened is they just kind of kept it to the back burner, and people know they use it, but not as prominent.
Yes.
So then what happened was that tweet.
But they hadn't any domains or social handles registered or owned by them or anything.
Yeah, which later on I found they had a trademark, but we're gonna get into that.
Right.
So so what happened is I had the Twitter. And I just thought, I never had much of followers. I didn't have no followers on Twitter. It was nothing like that. I just, chat a bit about trainers and stuff like that. But then what happened was, after that tweet, they started to attack me on Twitter. So this tweet came out around 2011, 2012. They started to attack me. And then I was like, oh my God, like, why? Like, what's the, so I'm tweeting back, yo, can we speak, boom, boom. And whoever was running the social, which I think I know who it could have been, whoever was running the social at the time was just going crazy on me. I was like, you know what, let's work. Then 2 weeks later, they go online, they find I have the domains and all that. They send a legal cease and desist to my parents' house. This is how far back. They'll say they went. Yeah. They sent a cease and desist to my parents' house. I see the cease and desist, and they go ballistic. If we don't, we're gonna sue you. They've done some research into me. I had property then and things like that. That they were gonna take it all. That's what they were threatening me with.
And they came hot out of the gate straight away. That's it.
Really heavy-handed.
Heavy-handed indeed.
So pretty much full coverage, cease and desist.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And that included all social.
All handles, everything.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So coming from where I come, I don't like to be bullied. So for me, no one does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute, and in the beginning, I wrote back to their lawyers, I think, an email at the time, and I said, I would like to discuss how we can work together, blah, blah. Then they came back to me. They didn't acknowledge it, even. I think they wrote back to me and they said, you've got like 7 days and then we're going to court. So in that 7 days, I literally learned everything I know about trademark law and the grey areas. And at the time, because the internet was still pretty new, it wasn't, there was no coverage of certain laws around the internet and social media at the time.
Yeah.
So I found that out, and then I phoned the lawyers literally before, like on the 5th or 6th day before they were going to file. And I said, hi, it's the King of Trains on the phone. And the lady, the female lawyer, bless her, she was like, you can't say that, blah, blah. And I said, well, actually, hold on, I can. And then I just literally went into like the grey areas and the law and stuff like that. And, in all fairness to the lawyer, she then was like, you know what, JD's a big company, trying to kind of tell me how it's going to go. Like, JD's a big company, they own a lot of things, etc., etc. And I said, yeah, that's fine, but the law is the law, innit? And they had a trademark, a retail trademark, but I was a personality, and it was something that there's some great, if you're known for something for more than 7 years, it's a great area that you it's not like you can take claim for it, but you can identify. You know what I'm saying? It's like, So I said, okay. She said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go to court. And she couldn't believe it. She was on the phone like, oh my God, this guy is a lunatic. Like, who is he? So because the original letters, it was like, dear sir, it's very heavy-handed. The word, and it's very political, but it's, you know what they're saying between the lines.
They're just trying to scare you into backing down.
So she said, okay, send me your solicitor's details so we can send them the paperwork so we can work it out, the court dates, whatever. And I said, no, send it to the same address you sent the original letter to. Because I'm defending myself in court.
What was our immediate reaction when you said
she was? It's like when you're speaking to someone, and you can tell a white sheet has been like you can tell she's on the phone like,
they've almost like seen a ghost.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And that, I think, she was like, oh, okay, like stuttering, okay, cool. This is me, okay, I look forward to hearing from you. And that conversation probably changed my life, if I'm honest, because then what happened is, from that moment on, I was like, okay, I'm going to court. I told my mum, my parents, my friends, I said, this is what we're going to do. We're all going to go to court. They were like, oh, yeah, cool, man. We know, like, boom, boom. But I think people didn't understand the magnitude of how far I was willing to go. And if I had lost, I could have lost everything.
Yeah.
Because they would have sued me for my, like, I would have had to sell my, everything. I could have lost everything. So, and I was willing to do that just to make a point. And I know it's stupid now. I know some people might, but I had to stand up for myself. And then I get a letter about 2-3 months later, but I was ready. Dear Mr. Boateng. So the first letter was like this, like very heavy-handed. The second letter was like, Dear Mr. Boateng, you could kind of do what you want, and then they left it.
Yeah.
Then what they did, what a lot of people don't know, is they launched their campaign. There's only one King of Trainers in Tottenham Hale.
So you're
on your doorstep.
You're obviously from Tottenham.
Yes, yeah.
And it's almost like a.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
People don't know, and for those who you live in North London, if you go down around Tottenham Hale, there's a one-way system. On the side of the JD Sports, there is only one King of Trainers in the biggest writing of all time.
Really?
Yeah. They launched that campaign, and then they started to rebrand a lot of their shops with the whole King of Trainers branding. And they started a campaign called Undisputed King of Trainers, Undefeated King of Trainers during that same time. They didn't say who they were disputing or with. So then what I did is, when I saw that, I was like, you know what? Let me just check if this new platform, Instagram, was coming up. And this was probably like a year or two even after Instagram had started. Yeah. I was on Instagram as Franklin or Fabs Network at the time.
Yeah.
And then I said, let me check if they got King of Trainers. They had King of Trainers. And this was way after this whole campaign was set up and things like that.
So the King of Trainers handle
was available.
Was free and available.
Yeah. Someone probably lost the job over that.
Yeah. So what happened was, I think the actual conversation was around 2011 with the lawyers, and then I registered as a King of Trainers like 2012. I can't 2012. It was very.
When did Insta start? Was it 08 or 09?
It could have been 09 or 10.
Okay.
So I think so, something around that time. Yeah. And then literally I used that page as like a blog for sneakers. And then their advertisements and what they were doing kind of helped me.
Yes.
And then, in the early days, I would go to events dressed up as a crown, with a crown and a robe, and get myself into so much trouble and just shake the room a bit. So it was a good time. And then, I have to shout out JD Sports because God being so good. During lockdown, they reached out and they said, look, Frank, like, we've seen what you're doing, and let's just work together. Let's do something. So it was a kind of.
So at any point did they like attempt to negotiate, buy the handle?
No. I mean, we did get some emails from some other, those people that they reach out to kind of, but like, oh, we're working on behalf of, but they don't say who they're working on behalf of. Yeah. So
it's interesting, Elsie asked that, because when we heard you were going to come on, I had heard previously, and we're talking the horse's mouth right now.
Yeah.
So you can dispel this as like complete BS.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I heard a rumor that you offered 100K.
I was offered 100K.
Yeah, for the handle.
No, I wasn't offered 100,000. I mean, at that time, before the handle was big, I probably might have taken it. I can't lie,
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't offered that amount of money. No. I was offered something. I can't really say.
Okay, I've got you. Yeah.
But I wasn't offered 100,000. No.
Okay.
Yeah, 100,000. I don't know if I'd be sitting here if I was because it might not have got that far. But nah, it wasn't 100K. No, it was
I've got you. Okay.
Yeah.
And the relationship today?
Oh, great relationship. The guys, I think the powers to be, whoever was in charge at that time and things like that has changed. And the guys from JD, I want to shout them all out. They're really good guys. I emailed them, they get back to me quickly. We've done a few campaigns. They posted me on their page, which there's certain things that sometimes you think in hindsight, if they had understood what I was doing, because when I said let's work together, and I told a lot of brands before this King of Trainers thing what I wanted to do in the game, like you know, be the personality, do reviews, do all these different things. I told them this, and they all kind of ignored me. But now I've worked with everyone. Yeah. So.
Okay, speaking of your work with brands, what stands out? What your fond memories?
Yeah, well,
what would you still like to do and achieve with brands?
Okay, well, I mean, I guess my fondest is having my own shoe with less. Yeah. That's definitely something I can really notch up, as you know, every sneakerhead wants their own shoe.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of a surreal moment to be able to design the shoe. The shoe it didn't come straight away as a collaboration. You know, a lot of people don't know that. It was a design thing called the Design Council. They invited a lot of people down to design the shoes, and I designed a pair based on my mum's love of tennis, Boris Becker. It was the colorway was based on Boris Becker's championship winning top when he won the women's championship. I literally got the shoes. I designed them like 2019, and then I got the shoes back like February 2020, and I asked the PR company at the time, guys, are you guys doing some sort of launch? They're like, nah, it's just friends and family, you know, take the shoes, whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm going to do my own stuff. So literally, I paid for my own launch. I remember putting up like just the tag of the shoe, and people were like, oh my God, you've got a collaboration. Like, because people know I've worked so hard for so many years, people were happy the fact that I've just managed to get a shoe. And then literally, I put the thing in, and I paid for my own video to be filmed. I paid for my own promo, everything. I got a venue in Tottenham. You know, I paid for my own launch. 200 people came down. It was such a really nice thing. And then literally the comments, like I think it's LS's most engaged post of all time. Like 600 comments, and it was one of them crazy surreal moments. And then people were DMing all the different accounts. Where can we get this shoe, etc. And at that time, there was no collaboration. It was just like, I've got a friends and family shoe. So then imagine I do the launch in late Feb, and then March, lockdown happens.
Oh, yeah.
No, but what happened, they announced my collaboration, I think, early March, and then late March, lockdown happens. And then I'm like, you know, it was just...
Typical.
Yeah. But... you know, God being so good, I have to shout out my guy Tom, who works for the brand that owns the license for LS, and he was like, "No, we'll make it happen." And shout out Jonathan from the PR company. They said, "No, we'll definitely make it happen." So throughout lockdown, it was shelved for a bit, you know, and then throughout lockdown, when things started to kind of look like it was getting back together, we put it together, and then the shoe launched in Selfridges in 2022, July 2022. Yeah. So it's it was interesting.
What did that feel like as a moment for you? 'Cause I suppose when you began your journey and you were just like conversating about footwear, I suppose everyone would like to think, okay, one day collaboration might be possible, or I might be able to work at a brand where I play a part. Indeed. But for you to actually have your name on a shoe, especially one which is so important to your story and history with footwear.
Indeed. I mean, I can't put it into words because I love training so much. Yeah. You know, I've been in trouble for training. I love it. You know, I've been through every type of emotion you can for trainers. So to have my shoe and to be able to dedicate it to my mum, oh man, words can't explain. You know, so that was like, for me, my height of this. I don't know what, you know. I mean, apart from I don't want to throw brands out, but apart from having a collab with Adidas or Nike, I don't know what I can do to top that. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. Yeah. In the sneaker world, what can I do to top that? Because it was a capsule collection. It was a shoe plus tracksuit plus, you know, Yeah.
And any plans to work with LS again in the future? Yeah,
I mean, the door's always open. They are bringing some real heat. They've done some real good design changes in their business. And yeah, the door's open. I mean, we'll see what the future holds. There's some things happening. I can't really say yet, but we'll see what the future holds there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And what about any other projects you've been involved that you take particular pride in?
Yeah.
Or that you've enjoyed working, or the process?
Yeah, I mean, I would say one is helping relaunch Averex in the UK. The guys who run the license for for LS also, they said they would bring Averex back to the UK. And I just went ballistic.
For those that might not be familiar with Averex and its history, do you want to quickly sort of...
My bad, my apologies.
Bring us sort of up to speed.
Yeah, my apologies. So Averex, I think the point that a lot of people can identify is Averex.
If you like 2000 rap videos, you'll know what Averex
is. Indeed. But before, I guess...
But there's a lot more.
There's a lot more. But so before then, I think people can maybe look at Top Gun. Yeah, so Top Gun, the original movie in '86, the pilot's jacket was an Averex jacket. The company make a lot of the aviation jackets for the American pilots. Moving from the aviation jackets, they went into doing college jackets, which are the varsity jackets, and then from the varsity jackets, the biggest clientele outside of college was rap and hip hop and stuff in the '90s, and then it just became synonymous for just street culture in general. And when I was younger in the '90s, having an Averex was like having a gold medal on your neck.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought my jacket. Oh God, I'm gonna reveal my age, but I bought my jacket like 28 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it the one you got on?
No. Okay. This is a newer one. But yeah, my jacket is it's nearly 30 years old, and I had no business as a teenager spending £500 on the jacket.
Yeah.
Would you say that Averex is to flight jackets what Alpha Industry is to like an MA1 bomber jacket?
Yeah, okay. I would say so. Yeah. I would say so. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for people who can who aren't familiar.
Who aren't familiar. Yeah. But I feel that you see what's happening now with expensive clothing.
Yes.
So Averex has always been relatively expensive for the times and stuff. But in the 90s, unfortunately, people were getting robbed and hurt for their jackets. So when you had one, people would be like, "Oh my God." Like, it was those types of moments back then, it's like how we feel about certain trainers now. Yeah. But you had an Averex and people would be like...
Yeah, certain times, certain environments, it puts a target on your back.
100%. Yeah. And I've still got my Averex jacket, let's say that.
What's retail for an Averex jacket now?
Okay, now it's around the £1,000 mark. Yeah, it's around the £1,000 mark. This particular one's 1,395. Okay. Yeah, so it's still a very expensive piece of item, but... It's relative. It's hard to game is now. Things are just expensive, So yeah.
And through your work with Averex, have you managed to get to the factory, see how they're made, produced?
Not the factory yet. No, not the factory yet.
Behind the stage door, as it were.
Yeah, I do know a lot of the processes now in terms of like even working with my collaboration and now working with Averex. I know the processes of how things work. I was fortunate enough to take a trip to New York to meet the creative director. Well, I met her when she came here, Mia, but I also went to their offices in Empire State Building in New York as well, and just kind of really understanding the business side. This fashion business is serious. It's serious business, so you got to kind of understand it and stuff like that. But yeah, it was really good.
And you've enjoyed your time running the store down at Box Park.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great. The Box Park store, and then they went and opened. The Box Park store was a partnership with myself and Averex, and then they opened the Soho store. But now they're just reformulating. So all the stores are closed at the moment. So they're just reformulating the next steps. Yeah.
But you got there was a Trap Star collaboration.
Yeah. I helped put that together. I helped put that together. Introduce Trap Star and Averex. Yeah.
How much of a role did you play in the content? Because I know Pot of Paper featured in...
Oh, the pop... No, I wasn't involved in that Pot of Paper stuff. But, I did behind the scenes put certain plays together for them to going forward now. Yeah. But, it's just... I mean, now, a lot of people seeing it, some of it's come from me, but then some's come from the marketing team. Shout them out as well, yeah.
Any one of one king of trainers Averexes?
Well... I can't say nothing. Just all I can say is next year, 2025, is the 50th anniversary of Averex. Okay. The 50th anniversary of Averex. So you're gonna see some special things. Yeah, you're gonna see.
Maybe we need to get some drop date team jackets.
I can make the introduction.
Microphone on the back.
Yeah. Why not?
I can make the introduction.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned New York there, and obviously just before Christmas we saw you make a guest appearance on on one of the biggest podcasts on the planet.
I know,
and, Gary Vee and friends.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was surreal. You know, I've met Gary Vee before. I did do some like promo stuff when he released his trainers with K-Swiss. And myself and his guy, his right man Tyler, we speak when he comes to London. We just chit chat and just, you know, I support what they do. So when I was going to New York, I was actually going to New York to kind of for a M&M Sotheby's was selling one of our M&M shoes. Myself and my friend, we have this had an M&M, you know, Air Max 90s 95s, and I went over to New York to go to that exhibition.
Okay,
it was called Emergence. But then as I was going, I said, okay, I'm gonna hit up my guy Tyler. I'm gonna hit up Averex, all these different things, and then I'm like, yo, I'm coming to New York. Maybe, you know, grab a coffee, blah blah. So then he hits me back and he's like, okay, cool. I land, and then he's like, Frank, you landed? You safe? You good? I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. Then he's like, okay, Gary wants you on the podcast tomorrow. I was like, yo, wow. Yeah. And that morning I had literally meetings. I was like, cancelled everything. I was like, yo, I'm going to go see Gary Vee. So that was a surreal moment. And we just chopped it up. And I mean, what people saw was, I think, like an hour. We were there for like about 2 hours, just chilling up, you know, and hanging out. And one thing I have to say about Gary Vee, with all his success and everything, and I don't know who can, you know, you can watch it on his page and stuff, but when you see him in person, he makes you feel like you guys have go way back. Like, he knows, and he doesn't have to. You know, he's Gary Vee. Like, you know, the guy invested in Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he makes you feel so warm and welcome, and really takes, just even if it's a minute, to really look in your eyes and be like, yo, I remember that time or that interaction and stuff, and it was just amazing to be next to someone like that. Yeah,
and he's quite a collector of many things.
Oh man, he's everything. I don't even know what, you know. He does collect sneakers. He's just got everything. You know, like, and being behind the scenes, you know, going into his offices and his studio space and stuff. It's a big team. Yeah, it's not just what we see him. You know, he is really feeding a lot of families, you know, and I respect it so much. I went and ran his whole office, and, you know, at Verna X, and it's mind blowing.
I suppose the almost the beauty of his content, though, it looks so grassroots that it could be like just one person with a camera.
Indeed.
But then when you see behind the curtain, it's like very
there's a lot of mechanics that make it happen. But everyone that I met and the interactions I had with them during my time there, it looks like he really takes care of everybody individually. Like, you know, sometimes where you can get a feel, because no one can make you know, okay, someone doesn't like their boss or whatever. Yes. But I felt every single person loved working there. I felt it. As soon as we stepped in the building, they knew us by name, our faces were on the screen. It was surreal. I was like, damn. I mean, I'm sitting next to Gary Vee and I can't even get a reply back from Nike like that. Sorry. But no, it's all love, man. It was a surreal moment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big. That's big.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Now, you're very, you know, community minded. It's always been about the sneaker community. You've been, stage centre for a long time, especially on the London scene. How do you see the current climate, the current community? Where, you know, how have you seen it change? Where do you see it going?
That's a very good question. Is it as fun? More fun? Less fun? Okay, so for me personally, I'm going to speak for myself, right? I still enjoy the social media side, like what we're doing now and stuff. I love it all day long. Yeah. It's not as fun to buy the shoes as it used to be for me personally.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, exactly. It's not as, because of the kind of,
because your wallet's screaming.
Yeah, and the influx of shoes, you know, it's just not, for me personally, it's not that. I mean, for the community side, yeah, some people may enjoy it, but I feel that there's been a lot of bitterness that's come into the game, if I'm honest. A lot of people are just salty, and it's just a bit, do you get what I mean? You know, But for me, I still enjoy it. I still enjoy the kind of scene and stuff and what I kind of try to do behind the scenes and things like that. So it's but it's changed. It's changed. It's changed.
I think I can definitely understand what you're saying when you say there's still like an element of community there on social media, because I feel like for some people they'd almost prefer to conversate about footwear and just like share where they're at. Whereas if you were like in a queue for a shoe, when you could like actually buy shoes first come first serve from like a store, they'd be a bit more like reserved and shy. Yeah. So I think it's good for like people that maybe are like that, a bit more reserved. But I think I don't know. There's a pair of Asics coming out in collaboration with like Kiko Kostadanov.
Okay.
And I think they were meant to go up. They were meant to go up they were meant to launch a couple of it like tomorrow or in a day or so, but they've been pushed back to like 24, 25 days. And I was just Googling the other day because I'm like, okay, this is the first shoe I've seen in a little while that I'm into. Yeah. They leaked like mid 2023, and I saved a photo of them, and I was like, okay, when that shoe comes out, I'd like to get them. Yeah. And sneakers and stuff have put them up. They're on raffle. I'm like, why is this shoe on raffle? Why is this shoe like no? Like why have I got to download an app? Why have I got to sign up? I may or I may not win the shoes, and then it's just if they take the money up front, like we there's something I'm going to get into, and this is leading into. But you mentioned like when the Dior Jordans came up before, and I'll just finish what I'm saying when like parlay into that. Yeah. But like. We're in a cost of living crisis, and like shoot like a shoe which was £110 is now like 160 or 170. So you've got to think, if that £160 leaving your bank account, you may not get it back for 5 to 7 working days. If you haven't won the raffle, and then that could be money that you could put towards a food shop or something else, electricity bill. It's crazy. So I think that there could be a bit more responsibility in the way that like footwear's presented and consumed by people. Indeed. Because I know definitely in the past couple of years I've consumed a lot less. I don't know about myself.
Oh no, 100%. 100%. I think everyone has.
I've lived years where I've bought like 10 pairs of shoes a month for the entire year, and I've lived years like last year where I probably bought 10 pairs in the entire year. Yeah. And it's partly from a position of shoes not like speaking to us the way they previously did, or tastes changing, but
adulthood also sucks. Yeah,
of course. But that's it. Like parlaying into the Dior, like
Dior game.
Where do you sit? Like raffle launch, your sneakers platforms. What do you think?
I think
sit on all that.
I think slowly they're gonna go back to first come first serve in a kind of reserved way, if that makes sense. Because they need that back. And if I'm honest, those types of running in the streets causes the hype. Look at Lorenzo recently.
Cortez, Ada Supply. Yeah. Like these brands which are making noise are the ones that are like kind of out there. And I think it's nice. When I was younger, I'm like 28, so I'm still from a place where you could like queue for a shoe. And I remember when Kanye signed the like Adidas, I did like 3-4 days in
the queue. You were outside?
I was outside. I did like 3-4 days.
Did you get a pair?
Oh, every time, mate.
Oh, good.
Every
because
350.
I help make it safe for you. Look, that's what people got upset with me for that, but make it safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you do any overnight stuff back in?
I did, but I always kind of had backdoor plugs, if I'm honest. That's when backdooring was backdooring. But you see, it's different now, and I don't want to kind of put it out there like it was a negative thing. It was just if you had good relationships, you'd be like,
that's what it was all about. Relationship building, absolutely.
Okay, I think that's a nice thing to touch on
and that art has been lost.
Exactly.
Yeah, because everyone's just he's faceless now.
That's it.
What people call backdooring is essentially being a VIP client or customer through spend or through relationship with someone of power within a retailer or a brand.
You've invested in the retailer, in the store, in the people.
100%.
So to be fair, I haven't seen a post like this for a little while. Yeah. But when you see like the photo of like the trophy room Jordans, Benjamin Kicks or someone of that ilk is standing in front of like 200 pairs stacked to the ceiling. Yeah. And it's like people are like, that's backdooring. Well, really, it's having a good relationship and leveraging that, and
indeed,
and getting to that point. I think that's almost lost on a lot of people.
100%. And what happens is, you see, where it got a bit political is you had people who worked for the brands were backdooring, and then it was more of a profit making rather than like let me look after you. Yes. That's where, as soon as it went from let me look after you to, I can make double before the recent dropped. And a lot of stores, I heard there was one store in the States when I was out in the States I was out in LA. There was one store in the States that was known for backdooring. I don't know if they're still around now. And I think Nike tested them, so sent them a release of a shoe early.
Okay.
Got them to we're gonna send you X, Y shoe. Got them to, like, the shoe was kept. Then Nike hit them probably a couple of weeks after, saying, those shoes we gave you, we're doing the launch at your store. Get ready. By that time, the store had already backdoored loads of pairs, and literally it discovered, that's where Nike was like, but what happened to the shoes? Because we wanted to do the launch with you, and then I think they lost their
Really.
Yeah. So
that's ruthless.
I've also heard of RFID tags. On like shoe boxes or like clothing tags. So if you get seeded or sent early. Yeah, and it goes in any other.
They can trace it.
Yeah,
they can trace it. Yeah, they can trace it. So it's a bit mad.
So we wanted to touch on the Dior
Dior
drop story. Yeah, Dior gate.
Dior gate. Oh man, this is going to be an interesting one for the listeners.
This is one for the clips.
Yeah, this is it. So so Dior gate started in lockdown. Okay. So lockdown for me, it was going really well. I was doing a lot of content and all that sort of stuff, right? And then a friend's cousin's friend, and what people don't know is when the Dior's dropped, which was a beautiful shoe, they were £1,800 for like the highs, and I think 1,200 for the lows, or something like 1,600 for the. I don't even know the prices.
A chunk of change for anyone for a pair of shoes. Really.
It was
for a pair of Nikes.
For a pair of Nike, exactly. Yeah. And it's Rolex money for a shoe. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a lot of money. So what people don't know is about 5 million, don't quote me on exact figures for all the nerds out there. It was about 5 million people entered a raffle for 3,000 shoes. Out of that 5 million people, of course, there's going to be some people that just can't afford the shoe, right? So what happened was, my friend's cousin's friend said, I've won this raffle, I can't afford it. Do you know anyone who wants it? So I get hit up by my friend. He's like, Frank, someone's won the raffle, they can't afford it. Do you want it? And it's me, of course. You know what? for just hitting me up, I'll give him a couple £100 on top.
You're nice. So
I was like, okay, maybe there might be other people who have won, thinking I'm doing a good deed. I went and put it on Instagram and said, hey guys, let me know if anyone's won the raffle and they can't afford the shoes. I'll give you guys a couple £100 on top, and let me know. I'll buy as many pairs, whatever. That people took that as, he's a reseller. And literally, it got shared in a particular Facebook group, and the people from that Facebook group was like, yes, this is our time to get him, because this was at the height of me defending shops and just making sure that and then they were like, yes, he's a reseller now, we can get it. And this is when the resellers was like the
devil,
the devil, basically. Yeah, he's a reseller, and then they just came for me, man. The community, quote unquote, came for me, but all the people that came for me never followed me, and it's like they just came out of nowhere, and it was just a horrible time, horrible time. And I just was like, and then the Tottenham came out in me, and I said some things. Yeah. So
did anyone apart from the initial person like reach out? Did you score any more pairs for a couple £100?
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say I got a few pairs, and I just sold them all. I didn't even want the shoe after that, because it just made it a bit.
To be fair, with product, with like collaborative product like that, it's essentially, to me, it's beyond the point of wearable. It's almost a commodity. It's a commodity.
It's a commodity. Yeah. And that's what I try to explain, because I mean, that was really a sour moment, because from that I literally got racist abuse. It was horrible. People turning on me, and it was just such a horrible place. And then I done a follow-up post, and I said, look guys, this is not a normal shoe. Like, just think about it. It's not a normal shoe. At the time, the resale was like 10,000.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? It was not a normal shoe. So when I say this is like the Rolex of shoes, and I put that. Then people started to kind of get it. Then I got loads of racist abuse, and then people wanted to quote unquote cancel me. I'm like, you can't cancel the king. I'm not under your rave to cancel me. So I left it for a bit, and then people were saying, "Oh, I can't see the racist abuse. Frank's using that as a deterrent."
Okay.
I said, "Okay, cool."
Which is completely out of order.
Exactly.
To even insinuate. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah. So I said, "Okay, cool," and I left it. Then I shared what people were saying.
Yeah.
Because I screenshotted every.
Yeah.
I just shared it, and then people were like, oh man, sorry, Frank. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, you didn't believe me, but because all the noise was going on, you know. But it's just. But this is how horrible the game can get sometimes. Yeah. You know, so
I see it more and more. Certainly recently, people just overstep the line.
Oh my God.
And some people that you think,
why?
I know you.
Yeah,
like, in real life,
exactly.
you would never say this stuff.
That's it, and it's horrible. And I feel that the problem is, and it's you know, I've been through my fair share of
you know, I'm
abuse.
sure you know you've said it before on other podcasts. You've taken your fair share. Of trolling and flack and
that's
you know,
it. But I've never had anyone say it in my face. Anyone say it in my face. You know, we have debates, we have disagreements, but I don't go out of my way and, correct me if I'm wrong, go to other pages and abuse people.
Yeah.
Heavy is the head.
That wears the crown. That's it. That's one of my favorite sayings. And if I have a problem, we'll have a discussion. We'll make a call. We'll just have okay. What you know? I'm sorry or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I've apologized to loads of people if I've done wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was a very trying time. So that's Dior gate, you know, for everyone who wants to.
And fair play to you, Franklin. Like you don't hide.
No.
Yeah, you'll have that discussion with anyone.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, people know where to find you.
Yeah, exactly.
Real life, online, wherever.
That's it.
Yeah, and you're always open for that.
Always. And I feel that that's how, as men, we should do things, and not hide behind a cute throw shots, and you know, and even with the Dior gate, I said something kind of over the line to somebody. He reached out to a shop, and the shop reached out to me, and it was such a whole thing. I literally text him, "Hey bro, I'm sorry," like, and I didn't have to.
Yeah, you're the
bigger
person.
Saying? I didn't have to, and I said, "Let's jump on a call." He didn't call me. He got my number. He didn't call me. He was like you know, he said all this stuff, and I was like, "Bro," I said, "Sorry, like, at least let's have a conversation." Yeah. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And I mean, I don't have any hard feelings to anybody, you know, but for me, the only thing is, you can't be racist to somebody over trainers when, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was so bizarre.
Yeah,
and
it's not that deep. It's
not
trainers.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, even recently, let's talk about the Lorenzo drop. A lot of people were upset because they say that he hooked up his friends, whatever, right? But people came to me to speak about him. I'm like, nah, Lorenzo's my guy. I taught that guy social media. He came to my one of my master classes, you know, and I love the kid. So it's one of those ones where people now want to use my voice to fight their battles. I'm like,
I've got you.
Yeah, I'm not with all of that.
For people who aren't familiar, that Lorenzo drop, it was 100 pairs.
100 pairs, yeah.
And you got in. A location was given out for those like branded Tony's chocolate bars.
Yes.
And I don't know how many chocolate bars there were. Do you know, Luke? 150. There was 150, and there was 100 golden tickets.
Yeah.
So to be fair, if you got a chocolate bar, you had pretty good odds.
Good odds.
You had good odds to get a shoe.
Indeed.
But the sizes were guaranteed.
But someone misses out. If someone always ends up feeling butthurt.
Exactly.
Like,
and what I want to kind of add to that is, by them feeling butthurt, if they won, they're not saying nothing.
Of course.
So you have to, and people.
Rather than not saying anything, they're saying, "Oh, what a great method! It was so fair.
This is it.
Everyone stood the same chance.
That's it.
Like, I'm happy with this. Like,
that's it.
You know.
And I people know me. I say something good or bad. Like, if I win or don't win, I've gone against every store, every brand for whatever, and I've lost money because of it. So if you're gonna be that person to, I'm salty, Frank, you should say something. I'm like, no, you should say something. You know what I mean? Don't use my voice to you know. So yeah, it's one of them ones.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you. I think you said on another podcast, you know, you wanted to get some information. Yeah, why don't people like King of Trainers? Yeah. But what I will say, and you know, not to be, you know, too not to kiss ass basically, but look, people might say what they like about King of Trainers, but I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Franklin.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's
thank you.
That's the real truth.
And that's what I'm, and this is what I try to kind of say, like, the King of Trainers person, he's a character.
Yeah.
He's a character. He's he's controversial. And that's what, when I kind of developed it, I was like, okay, I need to get people's attention, I saw that void of someone in the community to do that. And then I got people's attention, but then it comes with the kind of territory of, and then me personally, Franklin, if I was what people say I am, the bad guy, the bad guy, you will have people say, no, Franklin's like this, he's like that, but I've never, no one's, like you said, no one's ever come and be like, nah, he done this to me. Nah, I haven't. It's not true. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's, I think sometimes people take the sneaker world and mix it with reality and try to project this thing. Like literally I remember people came up to me, have come up to me in the past and be like, oh, I'll be honest, Frank, I thought you would be an arsehole because of my following. I'm like, why? Yeah. Because I've got a big following. Why would I be an arsehole? Yeah. Do you get what I mean? I mean, people, everyone sees me at events. I'm shaking hands with everybody. So I'm not trying to look down at anyone. People come up to me, Frank, can you help me? This, okay, cool. If I can do it, I can do it. And let's work. Let's do something. So, yeah.
Okay, well, what I want to ask, I don't know if this is going to be an exclusive, maybe.
Go on.
I'm going to ask you, is the crown and cape, has it retired? Will it make a comeback? Will there be an appearance ever again?
That is a great question. It's
depends how big that JD check is, eh?
It's true. You know what? It hasn't retired. If I'm honest, it hasn't retired. It's just, sometimes you kind of go in a different direction a bit. But no, the crown and cape hasn't retired. You still see in the background some of my videos here and there.
Yeah.
But I'm always willing to bring it out for the right.
And you got a prince to put it in.
Yeah, exactly. My son, Prince of Trainers. He doesn't care as much about trainers as I do. But
Oh, he's not having it.
No, he loves it, but not like at his age. Yeah. He's more technology and kids coding and stuff like that. So but he knows who his dad is. Yeah.
The king.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And having a family, is that a big part of your life? Yeah. What does Franklin away from sneakers look like? You take sneakers out of the picture.
Yeah.
What does Franklin look like?
No, thank you.
What have you got? Hobbies? What do you do?
Yeah. So I'm away from sneakers. Looking after my son. Recently I lost my father, so it's just looking after my mom. It's fine. Looking after my mom and just looking after my family in general. And I think sometimes what happens is when we fall into this sneaker world or sneaker community, a lot of people, they put pressure on you to do things when you're going through your own situations. Do you get what I mean? And it's but away from sneakers, I have my I teach digital marketing, I teach trainer and t-shirt design, I do mentoring, I do so many other things. I do so many different business consultancy and advice for other people that sometimes I'm like, do I need this new pair of trainers? Do you know what I mean? But for me, I'll be honest, I love it. I still love creating. I love creating. I love sitting here with you guys. I still love that side of it. So I'm never gonna kind of, sometimes you see people say, no, I'm retiring, I'm leaving the game. And no offense to those people, I'm not gonna make an announcement that I'm retiring.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that line. Oh, I'm retiring.
I'm retiring from the game. I'm like, you guys.
You don't like sneakers all of a sudden?
That's what I'm saying.
Come on, man.
It's weird for me.
We've liked sneakers since we were
kids,
as old as we can put shoes on.
So
it's never leaving.
And I think that for me is it's a bit of an awkward moment when I see people make an announcement. I'm leaving the game. And if you're leaving the game, you don't have to make an announcement.
Yeah, I don't get it goes in the same pigeonhole as I'm taking a social media break.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to. And the thing about it, it's like you see what happens is, and because I teach social media, what happens is people try to merge their real life with social media in a way that they think by me saying this, it's gonna make my life better. Do you get what I mean? You know, and some people get caught up in so many different things, but you know, if you love a particular thing unconditionally, no matter what age, I keep on saying, I'm gonna be, you know, I'm an old man now, but I'm gonna be an older man, and I'm gonna be rocking the latest trainers. These kids, they're not gonna stun on me. I'm gonna be out there stunning at my old age with my walking stick. They're gonna be like, huh, how come he's got that? I'll be like, yeah, man, my grandson gave it to me. Like, don't watch that. So I just love it, and it stems from the, like, when I grew up in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
It was all about difference. You, like, people don't know that now. Yeah, you see, you know, you get that nod to people. They have the same crep and stuff. In the 90s, if I bought a pair of Air Max 95s, yeah, and as a brethren, you buy the same pair, we're fighting.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that deep.
Yeah.
Unless we make.
But you look at the kids rolling out of school now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, the same.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
They all want to wear their same stuff, wear the same brands, wear the same styles.
You had to get a different, even
they
if
don't dare to be different.
This is it.
Because of what that.
Your society.
Yeah.
Your social media and society. And I feel that I want to bring a lot of that individuality back. You know, because it's just, oh man. I mean, for me, I get it when I do get it. Don't get me wrong.
You can't. The freedom you get by expressing yourself.
Yeah.
You know, is priceless.
Oh man, you know,
and you just need, you know, these kids need to be brave enough to do that.
That's it. And
I understand the pressures. I understand it's tough, but the juice is worth the squeeze.
Oh man,
dare to be different.
100%.
You know, 100%. Stay your lane. You like what you like. You know, just because you like it doesn't mean I have to like it.
That's it. And unfortunately, social media did that, and I'm to blame as well. I'm not taking myself out of the equation, because I at one time was pushing a bit of the narrative. Oh, these are hot and stuff like that, and you know, we all get in that hype beast kind of mode.
We're all guilty.
Yeah, but you know, when I see something different on someone, I literally go, I'm like, those are nice. You know, something not, you know, and that's how it used to be for me. It still is to some degree, because even like with my Let's Collab, they're two different colors, so I always get, oh, what happened here, and that's how I met a lot of friends back in the day. Do you get what I mean? Through, oh yeah, I ain't seen those, and then we just have a conversation.
I would have never put them.
Yeah, and then you have a conversation. Then
I've seen them. I just think I couldn't.
Yeah, and then you have a conversation. Yeah, and then you realize, oh, you have a love of sneakers, and then it just develops from there. And sometimes when everyone's just the same, how do you build from there? Like,
boring if we all like the same stuff, man.
Yeah, you know, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, so different. That segues nicely into something we wanted to touch on. It's early doors into 2024, but we're getting a sense that it could be a time for new up and coming brands.
Oh, for sure.
To get their time.
For sure. Yeah.
So we're talking brands like No Two Ways, for example.
Yeah, they're my guys. You know? Yeah, they're my guys.
So let's hear your thoughts on No Two Ways and maybe some other you know up and coming startup brands that are starting to make.
Yeah, I would say definitely. No Two Ways. What I like about them is they're young, they're hungry, they're fresh, and they have a different area of the market. You know, that whole online gaming side. Like, they have a lot of that area of the market. Do you get what I mean? And then, you know, they put in the work. They really put in the work, and like now they're one of the hottest brands out there because they've got like a completely different area. And you know, people who follow my page, they know I champion that, and I've championed that from the beginning. So now that a lot of people are jumping on new brands and stuff, people could never say, "Oh, Frank jumped." Because I go, wait, any new brand, they hit me up. Okay, cool. Let me post it and see how the reaction. And some people have actually hated me for posting new brands. Oh, that's rubbish. Why are you posting that? Why are you giving them the shine? Do you know what I mean? Remember, I'm back in the day, I used to have something called Rate My Custom. And then someone set up a page called Hate My Custom or something. I don't know. It was because I used to put up these customs every weekend, and people were like, oh, that's rubbish. Why are you giving them the exposure? But then that was what made my page different, because I didn't care.
But look what that whole culture spurned. It. We now have custom, bespoke.
Yeah.
You know,
collaborations.
Making actual product rather than just customizing an existing shoe. Guys like Govern and Mash and JBF,
Mash, all those guys.
all these guys.
Yeah. So, and I feel that that's where now, personally, I think that's where it's going. Individuality, the new brands like Salmon, it's our Salmon. Salmon. Yeah, I haven't got a pair yet.
Hawker.
Yeah. Flower Mountain.
Flower Mountain.
Mountain. Shout out, kid.
We got no deal. We're gonna have a brand.
You got a bit northeast on us there for Hawker. Yeah,
we don't have a brand deal.
Another. What's that one? I was chatting with Rye about. I pulled them up. Athletics footwear. Looks great stuff. Man. Yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah,
me and Ray were chatting about that.
Yeah. So, look, I love it right now, if I'm honest, because
I mean, if we go back 10 years ago, it was really hard for these guys to get a
like it was dead hard because we never had no type of. We did have like direct to consumer, but social media was dominated by hype, dominated in a way that no one can even imagine, and apart from, a few platforms, these new guys just wouldn't get a look in, So.
But I also think the sneakers are so mainstream now, it's cemented in there.
Indeed.
And I think since we started seeing sneakers on the catwalk at fashion weeks, that's where it's really, sneakers are definitely, they're no longer niche, they're definitely mainstream.
Indeed.
And I think it's allowed that sort of diversification into the sort of the brands that people will go for.
Indeed, yeah, 100%.
Do you not think since the pandemic, maybe back in the 22, 23, that almost the stuff that's hyped and was like getting a million sign-ups on a raffle, like a Travis Scott, like a Tiffany Air Force One, like things of that ilk. I feel like people have almost moved away from the things which are like super hyped, and they want things that people almost aren't looking at, and that's as you say, how these brands can like creep in and like
what can I wear that's
different? 100%.
I'm not going to see everyone else in.
100%. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. That's
where that is exactly where these brands are going to make big,
huge and
big wins. Yeah.
And I feel that, and I've said this on another platform, is give the people who put in the work, give them a collaboration. It's not difficult. Like now that I've collaborated with shoe brands and I've worked behind the scenes, it's not that difficult. Let people have what they want. Champion people, not just in the States. I've said that. I said that the UK, we don't get enough championing by the US. So we, as the UK, we would latch on to who the US give us. Does that make sense? But here we're just like, such and such got a character. Oh, that's cool. But not champion them and really put them to that. I know
what you mean completely. You're like, you're giving it a nod, but you're almost, as you said before, you're salty. You're almost like pissed off because
it's him.
Because you're like, oh well, they're getting that opportunity, but I'm not. So I'm gonna acknowledge it, but I'm not gonna like lift it up and make a song and dance about it.
And that's what it is. And I
agree.
And I feel that and I do want to shout out the Drop Date because when my collab came, you guys reported on it and stuff. So I'm so grateful for that. And I feel that we need more of that. Do you get what I mean? Not just for myself, but for everyone that's really going at it. Because in the UK, we've got so much talent.
Yeah.
Like, look at like Clinton Cortez and No Two Ways and all these guys. We need to, I mean, some of them are getting off lip, but we need to start looking, okay, who's really putting in the work? Or because it's easy. Like, people say, oh, it's so difficult Nike can't give collab. They can give it, man. Adidas can do it. It's just they don't want to. It may not fit their remit or whatever, but it's not difficult. It's not hard as we think it is. Yeah. It's more relationships than anything.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so dream collab for you looks like what?
Oh, God. Before, many years ago, I could have answered that question and said Nike. I could say everyone wants to work with Nike, right? But now I've done my own thing. I don't know. If something comes around, it comes around. But I've done everything I can do personally for me. So
if the choice, say it was like your favorite silhouette of Nike, and you can put whatever carte blanche to
I would like
your
to
spin on it.
I would like to do it,
or like a new brand, No Two Ways, and they say, look, listen.
Oh yeah,
ground
No Two
up,
Ways.
You do whatever you want.
I'd love to do something with No Two Ways. Shout out No Two Ways. I'd love to do something with them. But we
that project would interest you more than a just a colorway on a favorite silhouette.
Yeah, that project would I'm not opposed if Nike were to reach out, but I'm not opposed
I don't
to
think
it.
anyone. I don't think any of us are.
But no, I mean, I for me, like, people don't understand. Like, I'm the first person before any other collaborator to get a less in Selfridges. Do you know what I mean? And a less shoe to be sold in Selfridges, within the sneaker department, shout Offspring, and sell the clothes at the same time. Like, no one has done that.
Yeah.
And we're not talking like international. We're talking someone from Tottenham.
Yeah.
A guy like myself has done that. Like, what more could I do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I am. Yeah.
What would yours be?
I think these days it's going to be, it'll be something like, it'll probably be something golf related.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
Pull a favourite model into like a
Jordan 4 Golf. Come on.
Well, they've had Jordan 4 Golfs. It'd probably be something else.
Air Max 90.
They've done that. I'd like to see like a Spiridon Golf or Air Max 95 Golf.
All right.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
That's
They haven't done a 95 yet. They've done a 97. They've done a 90 and a 1. But yeah, it could go anywhere. Yeah, I'd probably like to do some sort of Nike Golf project. Okay. That would be my dream.
Yeah. Oh, you're heavy into golf. I forgot.
Yeah, big time.
Heavy into golf. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm that age now, frankly.
Nah, you can play golf at any age, man. You can play golf at any age.
I mean, what people don't know is I was playing golf at any age.
Oh,
so
good. Good stuff.
It's been a part of my life for a long time.
That's good.
And also part of my working life before sneakers. So,
okay, I didn't know that.
So yeah, I'm properly in there.
That's fantastic. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. Right. So we're going to wrap up. We haven't got much longer. What we wanted to ask you is we're going to each guest we're going to ask what is their Mount Rushmore of sneakers.
I've got a very Franklin specific question as well. But we'll do the Mount Rushmore first, then we'll.
Okay, cool.
So is that's five shoes can be specific.
Yeah,
it's as specific as
the
you
Mount
can
Rushmore shoes. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get straight into it. Okay, so my collaboration with LS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Come
on.
Nike TWs, original colorway.
Yep.
Yeah. Jordan 4, black and breads.
Okay.
Air Max 90s, infrareds.
Okay. Yeah. Classics.
And I want to say the Air Max 95s, the OGs, the original PSIs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got LS, TWs.
Yeah.
Red Jordan 4s.
Yeah.
Air Max 95 neons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 90.
And your Air Max 90 infrared. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I don't know if you caught my video the other week.
I didn't see it. No.
We're doing some content with the Gore-Tex that just dropped.
Oh, they're so nice.
Yeah, and Luke was like, "Oh, just bring a couple of other infrareds that you've got." I think I had 14 variations.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So have you got all of them?
Not the original. The earliest one was the MX Orange, which was 2002. Which sadly, by the time I'd brought it to the office and then back
disintegrated.
home.
Yeah, disintegrated. Yeah.
Yeah. History of Airs.
Yeah.
Deluxe. Anniversary pairs.
Yeah. Yeah. That's your favorite shoe,
golf
right?
pairs.
That's your favorite.
It's not.
It's not your favorite, really.
It's certainly the one I have the most of the same thing.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah. No, that's dope.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't realize how many it was, but it was mad. Yeah.
Cool.
It shot me. Right, so Reese, you want to finish on a
I got
question?
I got a very Franklin specific question.
Okay, thank you.
So we vaguely touched on it.
Mm-hmm.
You I don't think it would be wrong to class you as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
In what you do day to day and how you've maneuvered through life.
Mm-hmm.
What advice? What single piece of advice would you give to someone who's trying to navigate this industry right now, whether it's fashion, whether it's footwear?
Gotcha.
They're maybe 16, they've just they're finishing school, they've finished sixth form, or they've just finished university, and they're kind of scratching their head, not knowing what route to take.
So the pre-advice I'll give before I give the main advice is check out my audiobooks on my website, vericallyboy.com.
Is that a plug?
That is a plug. Okay. But no, the advice I would give is I'm set right at you at home watching this beautiful podcast, is consistency is the cheat code. So whatever you love to do, figure out a way to just be consistent and in micro. You don't have to run before you walk. Micro. But just please be consistent. And I know it's not easy in this world that we live in. Everyone's brains go somewhere else and stuff. But consistency is the cheat code, and that's kind of what's led me to be here. Consistency.
Yeah, I think that's sign of us. And on that note, us here at the Drop Date will try and be consistent and continue to deliver
indeed
top podcasts with top guests.
Thank you.
We will.
And Franklin, thank you very much.
No, thank you so much.
It's been an honor.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks.
It's definitely one of the most original settings I've been in. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Shout
we
out.
must thank our friends at TT Liquor,
out
Shoreditch
TT
High
Liquor.
Street.
Shout out, Steve.
A finer drinking establishment you will not find in London.
Indeed.
So check them out.
It's
And thanks for the team at TT Liquor for allowing us to conduct this podcast in your space.
Cool.
We're grateful.
Is that we done?
Yeah, I think so.
We're
I
out.
think
Cool.
I think we're
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Franklin.
Cheers.
Cheers.